Let's see you try to name a city here other than Boston. First things first, the cost of living in Massachusetts. It's no secret that the state has some of the highest property taxes in the country, which means you'll be paying through the nose just to live in a cramped, overpriced apartment. Speaking of money, we gotta talk about the economy too. Massachusetts is known for having a high cost of living, but it's not exactly a paradise for job seekers either. The unemployment rate is often higher than the national average, and the job market is highly competitive. If you're not a college graduate with a specialized degree, you'll have a hard time finding a decent job in the state. That'll probably be easy with our education system, right? The state is often ranked as having one of the best education systems in the country, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. The high school graduation rate might be impressive, but that doesn't mean every student is receiving a quality education. The state has a high dropout rate and a significant achievement gap between students of different races and socioeconomic backgrounds. Oh, and who can forget about the universities here? Oh great, another elite private college that only accepts the top 1% of students. Just what the state needs. Another way for the rich and the privileged to further segregate themselves from the rest of us. But hey, at least they'll have a fancy degree to show off, while the rest of us are struggling to make ends meet in this overpriced, overrated state. But the real kicker is the politics of Massachusetts. It's a highly liberal state, which might sound great on paper, but in practice it often leads to a lack of political diversity and an inability to compromise on important issues. If you're not a liberal, you'll probably feel like your voice isn't heard in Massachusetts. Okay, we have to talk about the weather too. Massachusetts is known for its brutal winters, with temperatures dropping well below freezing and piles of snow that seem to never end. But don't worry, the summers are just as miserable, with sweltering heat and humidity that will make you feel like you're suffocating. But that's not all. Massachusetts is also home to some of the most annoying drivers in the country. Forget about driving the left lane, because in Massachusetts, that's reserved for people who like to go 10 miles under the speed limit. And forget about using turn signals, because apparently that's just too much effort for the drivers here. The drivers aren't even the worst part. If you thought the drivers was bad, just wait until you hit the roads in Massachusetts. It's not uncommon to sit in traffic for hours on end, whether it's because of construction or just the sheer number of cars on the road. And if you're hoping to use public transportation as an alternative, good luck with that. The trains and buses in Massachusetts are notoriously unreliable, and you'll be lucky if you ever make it to your destination on time. But the real kicker is the culture of Massachusetts. It's a state that's obsessed with sports, specifically the New England Patriots and Boston Red Sox. If you're not a fan of either of these teams, you might as well just pack your bags and leave now because you'll never fit in. Let's not forget about the food either. If you're a fan of seafood, you might think that Massachusetts would be a paradise, but you'd be wrong. Sure, there's plenty of seafood available, but it's all overpriced and pretty much always overcooked. And don't even get us started on the coffee. It's virtually impossible to find a good cup of coffee in Massachusetts, no matter where you go. Oh, and who can forget about the attitude of the people in Massachusetts? They're known for being rude and arrogant, and they have a tendency to think they're better than everyone else. If you're not a native to the state, you'll probably feel like an outsider, no matter how long you've lived here. But the real kicker is the healthcare system in Massachusetts. While the state has a relatively low uninsured rate, it also has the third highest healthcare cost in the country. And even if you do have insurance, it's not uncommon to face long wait times for appointments and limited access to specialized care. Let's be honest, the only reason anyone ever goes to Massachusetts is for Boston. And maybe the boring old Plymouth Rock too. So there you have it, folks. Those are just a few more reasons why Massachusetts is the worst state in the country. Please learn a lesson from the Pilgrims and don't come here. Thanks for watching, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to comment which location you'd like to see roasted next.